AVI Advanced Grant. Our AVA nominated East Back County for the second phase of the grant, and we were able to then be sort of in competition for grants at the state level, and the district was selected to add another building, and it seemed logical to add the middle school rather than jump and go to high school. We were hoping we could add both buildings, but they had one building at a time. So looks like we're going to send Mr. Ritter for the first day of training just so that he can be with the middle school team and kind of get a feel for how this might look as we move it into the high school. We feel very fortunate. Most of the expenses for this are above and beyond the $5,000 are also paid by the DE. So the district really has no expense but receives the benefit. And it really is for our most struggling kids that have behaviors, and then that whole family setting and what the family dynamics are that will help support a successful student. So the middle school feels fortunate. We'll be putting a team together. We can send up to 8 people, and the first training is in January. And I'm sure you'll be hearing as we go through that process what that looks like. The middle school students had a food drive for the food pantry in Sac County, and it was really timed well because Doug Walls sort of set out a challenge to them and said, we'll double the amount of food that you collect pound for pound. They collected 400 pounds of food, and it was delivered last Friday to the food pantry, and then Doug Walls will donate their 400 pounds in January when the food pantry is usually empty and needs food. So that was, it was fun for the kids, and it was a nice gesture on their part, and a couple of teachers stepped forward and organized that and really made it successful. The building leadership team met in the last couple of weeks, and we too looked at student achievement data in the middle school, and we were looking at building BRI data, basic reading inventory data, and making sure that all the kids that need intervention are actually in intervention, and then checking to see what growth looks like for those kids. I got an email from Denny today, and he's having a tough time right now. He is really just in the same stage that he was 3 weeks ago in his initial treatment. He had treatment last Wednesday and came into school for a couple of hours last week, one day, and I think it probably did him so much good because kids were so glad to see him and staff were, and he was whipped after a couple hours, so went back out to get blood tests and then found out that he could go ahead and have his second treatment. So he had that on Wednesday, got sick a couple of days, had a day and a half of good health, feeling good, and is sick again. So he's kind of in the stages are sort of running the same, and this was his second treatment. He has it calculated, and in his email, in fact, when I sent it out to the staff, I just took his quote, and it said, my plan, capital P-L-A-N, his plan is that January 4th, he'll be at school for a day. So I sent him an email back saying, well, we'll hope that you're the guy in control of all of this. But he thinks probably by about that first day or two that we're back at school, we'd be about when he's feeling good again, if he's ever going to be feeling good before treatment 3, which is that Wednesday the 6th, I think it is, or Thursday the 7th. So keep him in your prayers and his family. The staff have been doing sort of quietly a collection for his family just to help out with expenses that aren't covered by insurance, and we just know that they need everyone to be thinking about him right now because he's really having a tough time. But the other couple things that I would say to you about superintendent report, in your packet you've got some information about something called Race to the Top. The federal government has a big chunk of money that they're going to invest in public schools in the country, and the name of that money is called Race to the Top. Iowa is committing to application for it, and it could mean anywhere from $50 to $560 million for the state of Iowa. And one of the things that's tough about it is it's got a really short turnaround time. So by mid-January, public schools in Iowa are going to have to determine if they're going to be part of Race to the Top. And that's no fault of the Iowa Department of Education. That's just, there just wasn't any turnaround time from the feds for the money. Iowa has to apply for it, frankly, because there's a lot of additional federal stabilization money tied to it. Money that, if you remember, they've taken away some of our state aid. And the only way we're going to get the state aid now from federal stabilization is if the state cooperates in the grant. So they sort of have us, I guess, There'll be a couple opportunities for the state. If they don't receive the grant the first time, they'll be able to reapply, and hopefully one of those two chances will get the money. At the local level, superintendents, board presidents, and union presidents are invited in our AEA January 6th to Pocahontas, and I sent emails to the two union reps as well as the two board presidents and inviting them to participate. There's an hour-long superintendent's meeting. It's kind of the technical assistance part of it, and then a 2-hour meeting where the other 4 members of our team will join, and then we make a decision at that point about whether we come back to the boards and ask for your permission for ESAC County to participate. I'm in a listserv with a lot of superintendents in Iowa, and as a superintendent group, we believe that it will not bode well for the state of Iowa if there is a full participation by schools in Iowa. Because it really says then to the federal government that the changes aren't enough schools participating to make the necessary academic achievement goals. I think the other thing we have to be careful of is it says directly to the Iowa Department of Education that we're not interested in improvement. Now, we could be interested in improvement, but not signing up for that says, well, we have both enough money and enough expertise, and I think we just have to be careful of that piece of it. The only tricky part of this whole thing seems to be a very clear message that student achievement is going to be linked directly to teacher evaluation and principal evaluation. And that's never been part of teacher evaluation in Iowa, nor has it been part of teacher evaluation in many states in the country. What a state has to prove is you don't have any laws that would disallow that to happen, and Iowa has none. So that's one of the first things that makes Iowa eligible. But Shirley and Chuck, Sammy Bruce, who is the vice president of the SAC Association, and Eric McCullough and I will head off in January, and we'll probably be looking at our special board meeting to be able to talk about what we're doing and how we feel about it and whether we'll feel like we can support that or not. I don't think it's action that can be taken tonight because there truly is just not enough information available. So I guess it's good news wrapped within the veil of some requirements probably, but good news in the sense that it would really allow schools to have some additional funding for Iowa core curriculum. The goals committee met tonight before the board meeting. I don't know if anyone would like to just talk a little bit about where we're at and what's going on with that.
We kind of went through the goals that were set for the district before and worked on some ideas and some of the things that maybe we needed to consider to add to them. So we are in no means ready to make a report, are we, to anybody on the goals, but we're still working on them. So we can certainly share some information with you, some copies and stuff and some things that we've come up with, and go from there. We'll be meeting again. So.
Kevin will be here late, so we'll just have his report when he gets there. How about the reorganization?